Yo, yo, yo. Give this a like if you can hear me. Let me know if you got a notification. Beautiful. Great. Okay, looks like people are getting notifications. Give this a thumbs up if you can hear me well, and then we'll kick things off once we get about 200, 300 people up in here. Let me know if you're enjoying the visuals. Spur of the moment live stream, but here we are. Feel free to send this live stream out to your socials. Spread the word, spread the love. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Got LC, Bronco, much love. Daniel Leo, I appreciate you. Yeah, I made some new music recently. Shared it. Just a little sneak preview. I'll let people know about that when we get some more people into the live. Got about 140 right now. Reich, Leopold, I appreciate you for joining the YouTube membership. That means a lot to me. Just got red pilled. I love it. Daniel Christensen, I appreciate you considering investing in my art. We would love to have you join us in the Wolf Pack. I'll be doing a new podcast this weekend. So if you're in the Patreon, I will be making a new Red Pill podcast. We're kind of reviewing the markets mostly, but then covering the altcoins that the members vote on. And of course, you also get access to our Discord server. Plenty of perks. Also, I'm thinking about switching these live streams to Saturday evening. Not as late as 5 p.m. Eastern time, but probably closer to like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. on Saturdays, maybe even 1 p.m. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm in the process of kind of figuring that out, but I think Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern would probably be more ideal for my setup. Just going through some things right now, and I'm trying to do my best to continue to connect with everyone, but really just trying my best. Okay, I'm getting back to the intro. Got some people joining in. OG Box, Mary A, Amanda, Robert Jones, sending you lots of love. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Con Lee, appreciate you. Brendan, it means a lot to me. Spearsh, great to have you with us. Ayanda says the preview that you put out sounds cosmic. That means so much to me. Yeah, my music projects I'm going to be putting out more. I want to focus on that a lot, especially in 2023. I'm in my process right now of finishing up the final 2 chapters of my expansion mastermind course, which many of you are probably aware of. This project means a lot to me, so I'm trying to really be in the headspace to pour my heart and soul into it and make the most unique, genuine art that I possibly can. So, like all things, it requires time. It requires getting into that headspace of creativity, and I'm really working towards fine-tuning the materials for that last 2 chapters in my expansion mastermind course. So once I'm through that, my next priority will absolutely be releasing more music. It was great to just let go and give that preview to the world. So that means a lot to me that you checked it out. Spella Ella, sending you love to Slovenia. I would love to visit Slovenia, by the way. It's a place that I have always been meaning to travel to. So if you have a good recommendation, let me know. I would definitely love to visit sometime. Jacob, Jason Garza, much love. Trio Design, sending you lots of love. Lacey, we got some people from the expansion group coaching with us. So glad to have you here. Seventh denim. Everybody just liked the video out of spite. I love that. Sending you love, 7th denim. I hope you're having a beautiful day so far. I love the little wolf bite. I love it. Let's check this out. Yeah, right here. So some of you might be aware that due to the amount of scammers on the interwebs, I decided to go out of my way to make a Instagram, which I was going to hold off doing. But this is my official Instagram. Not all the other ones are scammers. All the other ones are pretending to be me. And it's sad to know that some of them were successful in scamming people. I have nothing, to say about it. I have a warning inside of every single video I make with a disclaimer that states that I don't have a WhatsApp. I don't use really anything outside of my own website, which is WatersAbove.com, as well as patreon.com/WatersAbove, and my YouTube channel, which is WatersAbove. Now I have this Instagram, and I just simply did it to add more legitimacy and to really protect people from being taken advantage of. And this is the best I could do. We've reported the other scammers. I've sent out notifications to the Discord that we have inside of our mastermind community. I've done my best at exposing the people that are copying my work. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's only so much I could do. But anywho, yeah, I went ahead and recently released a sample of a new song that I have been working on. It's not completed yet, but it's going to be part of an album. of beats, essentially production. Really stoked. Also, I don't know if Dustin's with us right now, but Dustin, OG Wolf, he'll know what's up if he's with us. But I love this picture that he shared. He was at a Mars Volta concert and he shared this picture. I guess he was with somebody, and I just loved it. So I decided to repost it. Awesome. Such a great shot. I don't know if you could see, but she's wearing a WatersAbove sweatshirt, which is so great. That's just made me smile. Really means the world to me to see things like this. Wolf in the wild. But yeah, go check out this account if you want to listen to a snippet of that song that I worked on. Enjoy. Let's get back to the visuals. Oops. Anyways, we have 230 people with us. Hope you're all having a beautiful day. Duke Doobie, sending you lots of love, Drew. Hope you're having an amazing day, brother. Daniel said, just found the channel a month ago. Awesome. Glad to have you here with us. Welcome. Yeah, go ahead and like this. It'll send out, it'll help the algorithm and whatnot. Whatever that means. Exar Kuhn, appreciate you. S. Starlin, saw love. Sachin, happy to be Judith. Hope you're doing well. Sending you lots of love too. Sonic, appreciate you. Zach, wishing you an experience of abundance for tomorrow. Kevin means a lot to me. It's always important to take, I'm never taking a break, technically. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I think if people knew what was involved in what I do, they would be pretty blown away. But keeping my soul pure comes first. And with that, being genuine, it's going to create the best art possible. And plus, there's not been much to really discuss that hasn't already been brought up. I don't want to be one of those people that's just making videos to repeat the same, If it's important and it's critical and it serves its purpose and a bigger message, then absolutely. But some of these things that we've been talking about, like the 7-year cycle and Jubilee and all this stuff with finances, it's been quite repetitive. We've been talking about it now for over a year and a half. So it's important sometimes to take a step back, let things play out, recenter yourself, and focus on your purpose. So crucial. So crucial. Goku says, do I need the Mastermind course? I ask because I already feel like a mastermind. You don't need anything. You have everything within you. Everything is within you. The materials that I design, it just is what it is. I pour my soul into them, and if you want to invest in that art, I do believe it'll bring you more insight. It'll help you unlock a deeper sense of wisdom, but it's something you've always had. I always try to just create things that have utility, meaning, that bring you a sense of purpose, allow you to take focused action, to not be emotionally reactive. That's actually all the things that I put more energy into rather than giving people information. I think we need to move away from this information bullshit. Like, the world doesn't need any more information and data. What the world needs is to unlock their wisdom from within themselves. The world doesn't need more information. And every time that I come across people who all they can offer is information, I quickly become disinterested because I'm not here for that. I'm not here to just like shove data into people's skulls. To me, that's not what this experience is for. We're in the process of expansion right now. And believe it or not, information, what it's done is it's caused more contraction than it has any expansion. And I know people like to believe that knowing more has helped, but it actually has dug a deeper grave for your soul. What you need is to access your gnosis. Applied knowledge. Knowledge that has the ability to be applied. I think more people focus on how to make someone else's day better and how to change someone else's world when they should really be trying to make their day better and change their own world. And through their results will be the universal language of that success. And that's what will start to stimulate the hearts of man. And I know that's not a sexy thing to say, especially in response to somebody that's saying, asking about buying one of my courses. But I'm not here for that. I'm not selling content. I'm providing the world with art. And if you like to support artists, go for it. It's on you. Wow. Mike Phillips. It's so great to hear from you. Said, "Hey Jordan," from a private excuse me. Wow, it's really nice to hear from you, Mike. Mike said, "Hey Jordan, from a private client, much love, brother. Although I didn't bother you much, I wanted to let you know that just being a private client brings me such peace with this crypto game." Wow. Thank you. That means a lot, Mike, and I hope you and your family are living abundance and having the best time. It's really great to hear from you. And reach out to me whenever. Keep in touch. Okay, it looks like people are thinking that the Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time would actually be more ideal. So I think that's probably the better way to go forth with this. Anna, Anushka, I hope you're having a beautiful day. Appreciate you. Craig Thorne, appreciate you, brother. Dilip Patel, it's great to have you with us. Somebody brings up what's the single best resource for learning Chaldean numerology. So what matters most about numerology is actually learning the individual meanings of all the numbers and trying to find each ancient civilization's definition of what those numbers meant to them. And then you're going to start to see these similarities. And then once you've compiled all the similarities, it'll start to make much more sense. Another thing you could do is look at everything through the lenses of the mythological stories. So when you go back to the origin stories, like you have Uranus as Father Sky, and you have Gaia being Mother Earth, and you have this connection and giving birth to this, to these more mighty titans, etc. And you have these stories are essentially being borrowed from each other throughout other civilizations, and you start to see the similarities. For instance, we have Saturn is Chronos, but it's also Geb in ancient Egyptian. And you're going to see that the number sequences and the meanings behind numbers and numerology, since we're talking about that, is going to have a whole new meaning at the base level. Like you're going to build a stronger foundation rather than just jumping to some system of ciphers of numerology, because I think that's what makes people a little bit lost in learning decoding, is they don't actually know the base information regarding the numbers. So a great example would be something we've talked about a lot, like 0 is the cosmic egg, or it's nothing. It actually gives birth to everything, but it starts as a void. It's a void of nothingness. So this void of nothingness, 0, it's kind of like going back to that, chicken or the egg thing that we all talk about. It's the same idea. But think of cell division, and Fibonacci sequence and all of these number sequences. They're all really special in nature. And once we start gaining more insights into the origins of those, we start to become a lot more of a student to these numbers and numerology itself, rather than just jumping straight to the ciphers and trying to know what the number 37 means. When you know what the number 3 means and the number 7, now you could really make a lot more sense out of what the number 37 means. And then when you start getting into mathematics in and of itself, you start to get prime numbers and triangular numbers. You could get more advanced from there. But I think what would be better to do is just study the Chaldeans as a civilization. They were very advanced astronomers and astrologers. Study them as a highly advanced civilization. Then study the individual meanings of the numbers. So like we were saying with that example, 0 is the cosmic egg. It gives birth to the 1. And then after the 1, you have 2, which is duality. 3, the Trinity, meaning 1 and 2, or the divine masculine, the divine feminine, can create. And that creation is always kind of anthropomorphized into this concept of Horus or a Christ or Krishna or any of these deities that have been given the role of what humans should worship during this time. And really what that comes back to is the sun. So then you have Abrahamic religions sort of hiding these truths within what I'm talking about right now. Another thing you could do that would be extremely helpful is learn the Hebrew number system. So learn the meaning of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, just learn 0 through 9. And then learn the Hebrew alphabet and the connection that each Hebrew letter has to the actual, numerological basis. And that's the origins of Gematria. So it's so funny when most people are learning Gematria, they're not actually learning from rabbis. They're learning from, YouTubers, probably Gematria Effect News. That's why when you watch my work, when I'm decoding, I always stop myself when I'm in the midst of a decode to further expound upon what these number connections are and what the deeper meaning is. I think a great example of an educator who does a very great job at what I'm talking about right now is Logan, Decode Your Reality. He's incredible at breaking down the connections to the numbers. So I really honor him and his ability to, first of all, have such an incredible memory. I don't know if you guys know this, but when Logan does his decodes, it might seem like he's pre-planned so much of it and whatnot, but when I talk with him on the phone, he just knows all these connections in his head. So me and him are very similar that way, where we know, we are very crafty in a particular field of decoding and numerology. And because we have this knowledge in the basics and the fundamentals, it allows us to have a better memory and just a better recall. So what I personally specialize in, and I'm sure most of you have already, kind of gathered this, is just the study of the mythologies. One other thing that I could say in response to this question of when somebody asks, what's the single best resource for learning Chaldean numerology? before getting to that layer, you know, it's kind of like learning about astrology. You know how many people just skip to learning about astrology, but they never learn about mythology? So they're missing the basics and the base stories behind all this stuff that they're getting into when they delve down the rabbit hole of perhaps tropical astrology or sidereal astrology. And it's great. It's great to know so much about astrology, but what would have even more value is if you knew the meaning behind what you were talking about. You know, like, sure, reading an astrology chart is a skill, but what you're reading and the connections you're making, if you don't have any understanding of what these actual luminaries are, or the cosmology, or the astrotheology behind it, then it's going to be very difficult for you to actually know what it is that you're speaking on. And this all goes back to being plagiarized from the ancient Egyptian mystery school systems. So perhaps when people get into Hermeticism, you know, you could really start to unlock a lot of value from those teachings. Hey, Sybil, it's great to have you here. OG Box says, I'm on chapter 6 of the Expansion Mastermind course, loving it. That really means a lot to me. Yeah, you'll love chapter 7, by the way. That's a chapter that I've been wanting to, you know, I've been sharing a lot of that wisdom within these live streams, but I really wanted to work hard on that chapter because as I would answer questions in live streams, it was never given all that excess context, you know? Now with the actual course, I have all this context behind these truths that are being shared in these live streams regarding consumption, regarding healing and detoxification and fasting and all of that, you know? So it's so important that that chapter got released because anyone who's been following these live streams that resonates with the stuff about diet and nutrition and how to take care of your body, how to take care of your vessel. Yeah, chapter 7 is going to be really fire for those people that are interested in that stuff. Again, they're going to be learning the basics about how the body works, about the body system. Anna says, even though we reported it, Instagram keeps allowing them to keep their pages. Yeah, Anna, you're right. And that's why I told people, you know, the best I could do is just go out of my way to make the real account. Like, I know there's some newer people here, so just quickly let them know. And maybe I'll make another announcement a little bit later that I had to go out of my way to make Instagram. It's probably never going to get verified. Just because the way the system works, it only really likes to verify influencers who have big pages, and you know how the game goes. So in the meantime, I've put this official Instagram link within my bio and the description of all my YouTube videos. So hopefully that helps people moving forward. But I released a little bit of a snippet of one of the songs that I was working on because I had so many people asking me about that art. So enjoy the last post that I put out. It's a snippet from one of the tracks that I'll probably be releasing the full track for everyone, maybe at the beginning of November, like on 111. I think that'll be dope. Like 111222 November. Yeah, I'll show you. Special date. Let's look at the numerology on this. Oh, yeah, this is great. Okay, so the 111 date in the 222 year is going to be a 9-date numerology. So getting back to the numbers that we were talking about before, 0 is the number of nothing, while 9 is the number of everything. 9 is the number that represents spatial infinity. It explains the expansiveness of this particular number in and of itself and its relationship to all the other numbers, whether you're doing multiplication, division, addition, etc. Number 9 is very, very special. Wow, let's see its connection to Rosh Hashanah, because that's, oh, there you go. Okay. So look, it's 36 days, and that 36 number is quite big. 3, 6, or 3, sixes, like the 666, which comes back to carbon in the periodic table, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. It is not the number of the beast. It is the number of life. It's the number, because this is carbon-based life forms. That's what we are. And the 36th element, if you want to get a little bit deeper, is krypton, which is such an amazing thing, because what do we talk about here on this channel? Quite often we talk about crypto, and that's the origin of this particular word. Krypton comes back to kryptos, which means hidden or secret. It comes back to keeping secrets. So you guys are aware of the secret societies and the Illuminati, etc., and you get kind of an understanding behind the power of krypton. And just Greek, that's another thing. I mean, damn, if you can study the Hebrew language and also study Greek, you're going to be, because remember, Greek's numerology system that they have is called isopsephy, and isopsephy is one of the original forms of Gematria. Actually, Gematria, the word, comes from the origin of geometry in Greek. It's important for people to remember that. Anyway, back to the visuals. Okay, we got 336 people. Reich Leopold, I appreciate your super chat. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much for everyone who is supporting the work, and these super chats are really helpful, and it means the world to me. Reich Leopold says, would you do a podcast on Instagram now that you have an account? I didn't even know that you could do a podcast on Instagram. How do you do that? You said me and some friends bought land, and we are building a community in the mountains in Romania. Let me know how it feels. All the love. Well, first and foremost, I think lots of people are interested in that. A lot of people would be interested in those sorts of communities. So if you'd like, feel free to share the email to contact you. And if other people that are tuning into this live stream, whether it be now or in the future, are interested, they could reach out to you. But that's on you, But yeah, that's great. First and foremost, I give you my respect for putting in the work to create those sorts of things. That's amazing. Do that. More people need to do that. If that's something you're passionate about, becoming more self-sustainable and being more, in the process of taking action to get out of the parasitic systems that many people are just completely enslaved by, then the only thing you could do is take action. There's no need to complain about the world when you have the opportunity to change your world. So I'm sending you love and abundance in your new endeavors. Bridget says, always appreciate your words of wisdom. Happy for this moment. Thank you for all your hard work, Jordan. Your words always seem to soothe my soul. Still have your course as my goal, getting closer. That means a lot to me, Bridget. Appreciate you. Sending you lots of love. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Decode, I appreciate you showing up. It's great to have you with us, brother. Donald Pump. Appreciate you, Susie Q. Justin Martin said, I had a whole convo with the fake IG of yours. Yep, that's pretty amazing. I've been seeing people send me like full screen cap conversations with them talking to other Instagram accounts that are not mine. I only have one. It's this one. That's it. And I made it like very recently. I made it with this post right here. And then, yeah, it's the only one. I promise you. What's crazy too is I had people, after I told them about this, they're like, I don't believe you. I talked to another one and like, like, what do you mean you don't believe? Like, what the fuck? Anyone who follows this Instagram Has there been somebody messaging you back, talking about selling you on how to invest your money in like some trading program or some shit? Probably not, because that's bullshit. If you want to invest in anything I do, it's here, WatersAbove.com. That's it. This is my work. And you know my Patreon, patreon.com/WatersAbove. Everything else is copying my work, okay? I wouldn't lie to you. It's insane. But you know, like people, I'll say this, okay? I'll say this because it needs to be said. These people that just scam, that make these fake accounts all day, that's their life. That's their life. They have nothing. This is a form of suffering that we need to all just allow, you know? Like we can't be mad at them. I mean, I'm telling you this, right? Because I'm not mad at them. I know that they're suffering and I know that they're struggling in life and they're just living in lack and they have no ability to see clearly. And their heart chakra is just completely like disoriented and disconnected from them. And they're in their mind. And in your mind is the only impure part of you. And when you're solely in your mind, you're going to start to do things that will impact, you know, your ability to become prosperous and abundant in this physical realm. Those individuals are so drained of their prana and they have so little life force energy that the only thing they're able to do now is to feed off of weak people. So that's why they go after older people and they go after people that don't speak English as a first language. They try to just figure out who can they take advantage of. And even worse, they leverage on other people's art to be able to get away with this. It's sad, but I mean, imagine how sad their life is. Even if they're able to scam one person or 10 people or 1,000 people, think about the return on investment for their soul. I mean, damn. You know, that's going to be, it's going to be dark. But hey, I'm here, I'm living in abundance, and I'm just responding instead of reacting. So the response to all of this is just to make as many, you know, placeholder accounts as I possibly can without making my life harder for myself. So, I see people dropping out of the stream, so that means that maybe let me know if you guys can still hear me. It looked like a little bit of the stream popped out. Also, I see that there's a spam bot in the chat, so just got to disregard that, guys. And also, if I think Jody is here with us. Hey, Jody, sending you lots of love. I hope you're having a beautiful day. So great to have you here with us. And thank you for putting in your putting in the work to mute these spam bot chats. Thank you, Jody. You're the best. Appreciate you. Okay, let me get back to some of these. Shout out to New Zealand in the house. Oh, Daily Juice says, Jordan, the expansion mastermind is indeed a great game changer, especially when I took a mushroom trip. Felt bliss and unity consciousness, creative essence kicked in. 'Twas a beautiful experience. That really means a lot to me. It's so great seeing just so great seeing all the people that have reacted to this new course that I put out, the Expansion Mastermind. I've gotten some really beautiful messages so far. And it's only been out for like a month and a half. It's really just so beautiful to see. I mean, you know, the one thing that really means a lot to me is when I'm getting the feedback from people talking about attention mastery, which is chapter 3, getting a lot of stuff on people making some big breakthroughs, you know, regarding being distracted, people that are, you know, have really damaged self-esteem and just struggling to tap into that creative energy. And really, you know, seeing people regain a sense of purpose. So beautiful to watch. And anyone who has the Expansion Mastermind course, you know that I didn't make things complicated. I really, really did my best at simplifying as much as possible. Okay. I guess I'm still running. I mean, it'll be left up for a full day, available for everyone to see. Dustin, I appreciate your super chat. Appreciate you, brother. You said, just wanted a surprise shout out to my red pill moment that I'll be listening to this live with much later tonight. She's a diamond in a sea of glass, and I can't wait to have my pineal gland melted with her. Woof. That statement has a lot of energy behind it. I'm not entirely sure where you're going with that. Are you talking about the girl in this? You talking about her? That's dope. Enjoy your time together. Enjoy. Appreciate you, Dustin. Sending you lots of love. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Trading Crypto UK. I appreciate your super chat. It means a lot. You said, hey, Jordan, hope you're well. Would love your insight in what could be causing frequent bathroom trips during the night. I do all the obvious, like stopping any food or drink 3 to 4 hours before bed. No caffeine. Okay, so this could be glandular. It could have something to do with your adrenals, perhaps, but it's usually just because you're hydrated. So, I mean, because we're all adults here, if the color of your urine is really dark, then we have some problems, especially if it's frequent bathroom trips of the night. But if it's you just having like clear urine and you're getting woken up from your system just flushing, you know, a lot of excess fluids, then that's completely normal. But yeah, you're just effectively hydrated, and that's something your body's going to have to get used to. But again, I need to know your before protocol. I need to know your during protocol. Like, I would need to know more context to be able to answer this question thoroughly. But it sounds like it's better to have frequent bathroom trips than it is to have infrequent, you know? And I assume you're talking about urination. So, yeah, that's totally normal. But here's the thing, and I talked about this in a lot of my work. You know, I have not been keeping this a secret, but drinking all this pure water is not necessarily the answer to hydration. Like, if you want to actually become effectively hydrated, you need to cut back on drinking pure water, because pure water is actually flushing out the electrolytes in your system. It serves a purpose, though. It just depends on the conversation holistically. But this blanket statement that water is hydrating you is nonsense. Especially anyone who forgoes a water fast, meaning abstaining from food and only doing pure water. You're going to be super dehydrated if there's no minerals in that water that you're drinking. So You're flushing out electrolytes from the body, therefore dehydrating yourself, even though you're only drinking water on an extended water fast. This is why people who go for these 6-day, 7-day, 8-day water fasts, they start to have drier skin. They'll have brittle nails. They'll start to see issues with their actual, their skeletal muscle will start to reduce. So they're actually losing muscle mass. It's like, yeah, you're losing adipose, of course, because you've restricted your calories down to nothing. And ultimately, sure, like you're losing fat, but how much muscle are you losing in the process? And you have to think about this. The process of building muscle is way more difficult than it is to gain fat. You could gain fat easily. Building muscle requires stress on the muscle. It actually requires resistance training or stress. So think about what I'm talking about right now. And so few people in the fasting community know how the organism actually operates, and they're just doing these extended water fasts, and they're destroying their vessel in the process. A lot of people in the fasting education side of things are actually spreading a lot of misinformation, believe it or not. So if you want to become effectively hydrated, you need to become hydrated interstitially. You actually have to have the hydration holding around the cells and staying in your body. You want to have some sort of balance of your electrolytes. You want to have homeostasis in that regard. But really what people should be more focused on is how to reduce adipose as much as possible while maintaining skeletal muscle tissue and also staying effectively hydrated. If you could do those three things, you're going to be not only really happy with your body composition, but you're going to see everything else start to correct itself. Hair, nails, eyes, skin, all things are going to start to replenish. You're going to prevent dis-ease. And of course, that's what we all are trying to do when we learn about health. But too many people are addicted to the idea of calories and macronutrients and supplements and even in the fasting community, it's like so rare to hear people who really are aware of the power of dry fasting and Shivambu. Most of the fasting information you hear is about people talking about abstaining from a particular type of food or getting down to a single food as their form of fasting. So people say that they're fasting even though they're not. They're not actually practicing a fast. Therefore, their hormones and their lymphatic system aren't really they're not experiencing corrective action, and their lymphatic system is not healing. So the organs aren't making much of a change. You're just deciding to abstain from a particular food. It's not a fast. But anyways, that's probably a full-blown... I could probably do like a whole masterclass just on... consumption, right? Wow, we could talk about that for days. Anyways, getting back to the initial question, and again, Trading Crypto UK, sending you lots of love. And when it comes to frequent bathroom trips, urinating a lot during the night, it's just because you're effectively hydrated, but I know that it's not comfortable to be, let's just say, and I don't want to get really complicated, but I could tell that if you're asking this question, it's probably because you're not so happy with waking up, like the process of disrupting the natural circadian rhythm. And I wouldn't be either. But if you've been somebody that's been eating normal for a while, and then you've started to change your way of eating, and you start increasing your fruit intake and eating like live living foods, raw foods especially, with an emphasis on fruit, yeah, you're going to start urinating a lot more because your body has a lot more fluid in it. It's just a natural part of the process. But remember what I started with a little bit earlier. It could be glandular, like it could actually be your adrenals. I don't know if you're exercising. I don't know if you're... there's so much that goes into it. So much that goes into it. Ryan, sending you lots of love. Daniel Leo says, I'm at 100K followers on Instagram. It's hard for any type of creator to get verified unless you get press credentials, you need at least 4 mainstream media outlets to pick your page up. Okay. Well, Daniel Leo, I'm not interested at all in growing my Instagram account. The only thing that I desired out of the Instagram was to help people know who's really the real me. That was all. I don't care if it has 10,000 or 40,000 or 10 people follow. It doesn't. The followers is one thing. I mean, if people want to stay up to date on some content that I'll be putting out, particularly music content, then go ahead and follow my Instagram. But that doesn't do anything for me. And the verification process is meaningless to me. The only reason I would ever desire it is, again, so it could help with the legitimacy of people knowing who the real account is, so I could help people and prevent them from getting scammed. Because I've already seen full-blown back-to-back conversations between these fake accounts. Like, watch, let me just type in. I'll just show you guys. Like this shit. Look at this. This is not me. This isn't my account. He doesn't even have my right YouTube channel. This isn't even right. Like, this is... But they have 12.7 thousand followers. So think about it. If somebody finds this, they're going to go, oh, this is the real one because it has 12,000. No, it's not. This is a fake account. Like, they buy bots. This account already had 12, 13,000, maybe even 15,000 followers before they even renamed it to this and changed the picture and made these fake posts. Right? They just bought it like that. And they're using this to go to like BitBoy's Instagram and other people's Instagram, plus this follower list of new followers. And they're DMing them and trying to sell them on something that is not my Patreon. You know, they're trying to sell them on some extra shit on the side that's not my work. Anyways, whatever. But this is so funny. It's like they're taking posts from other things that I've done and then screen capping it and re-uploading it. So low quality. Like, look at how dodgy this is. So bad. You guys know I do better than that. You know I do better than that. But anyways, yeah, this is my real. This is the real one. Go follow that if you want to stay up to date on some things. Trevor Knoll says, bro, I started eating half a watermelon to a full watermelon, 7 to 12 pounds a day. It's been a game changer. Yeah, watermelon is amazing. Watermelon will really effectively hydrate you and make you feel like you're flushing out a lot of excess waste that's been stored in your colon. And that will lighten you up a lot. Like, it'll really push things out. And also, watermelon specifically is very high in citrulline. So if you're somebody who works out at the gym, or you're doing resistance training or yoga or anything like that, increasing your watermelon intake is obviously going to give you more energy. It's going to give you more overall hydration, effective hydration, but it's going to increase citrulline. It's really important amino acid. It's very rare to find in nature in the amounts that you get specifically in watermelon. I got a super chat from Ennio Guerre 404. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for your super chat. It means so much to me. Really appreciate you. You said thank you for the expansion mastermind. My mom is about to do chemo infusion for her stage 3 pancreatic cancer. Oof, pancreatic cancer. Oof. You said also has some tumors in lungs. Other than fasting and Shivambu, is there anything else she can do? Diabetes too. You know, this is a lot to unpack, because, you know, she clearly the pancreas isn't working at all in this situation. So if she has diabetes and she's taking exogenous insulin because her pancreas isn't working on its own, it's not able to do its own process of creating its own insulin, and she's relying solely on the exogenous insulin, which is a very common thing. I mean, it's like the number 3 or 4th most popular disease. So this has led to this pretty much completely damaged pancreas, and yeah. I really just don't know what to say to this, because it's going to require them to make some compromises, you know? Because if you're saying see, this is the problem with this. Not you, but just with this type of question and thinking, is when they say that other than fasting and Shivambu, you're trying to avoid curing yourself naturally in the way that's the body is designed to cure itself, and you're trying to find some other methodology. And pretty much the way that this whole hospital system works and the diagnosis process is, think about the word diagnosis means. Diagnosis. It literally has the word gnosis in it. It's the death of the inner knowing. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. It's the etymology here. It's essentially the ending of this ability to access your inner healing or your inner knowing, your inner ability to cure thyself or heal thyself. The diagnosis process is amazing when you actually study some of the things that have happened in the past. One thing that I talk about quite often here is the studies of people who women who were put in these trial wards, and they were giving them sugar pills, and they were telling them that they were getting chemo medications. Essentially, they were in the process of learning about their diagnosis of cancer, and they were giving them these sugar pills like Tic Tacs, and telling them that it was like chemo medication. Okay? And they were losing their hair, but they were eating a fucking sugar pill. All right? This has been documented, and people could go find, information on this in plenty of different languages. It's been sourced. The power of the mind. When you tell somebody that they have an illness, and then you give them a medicine or something that will create some sort of reaction, which they're all told that they'll lose their hair, the mind will create that outcome. That's how incredible the mind programming is. So to be asked, how do I go against the mind programming while also trying to avoid the greatest way of healing thyself, which is not intervening anymore? Think about what fasting is. Think about what dry fasting is. You are intervening from you killing yourself, because that's what eating does. Eating is the slow process of you ending your own life. I know that sounds really harsh, but it's what it is. There's so many wise quotes out there that talk about how we essentially all commit suicide with our diets. Think about it. And that's noticeable even statistically if you're somebody who's into the statistics. If you look at the top 10 causes of mortality, the top 10 causes of mortality, even including the number 3, which is malpractice, is all food related. Think about this. So if your pancreas has stopped working and you're diabetic, you're essentially like a zombie person. You're barely alive, and you need to rely on a syringe and exogenous insulin to even exist, to be. Now, if you're not willing to try these practices that could reverse forever end-stage illness, then do you really want to live? I'm just being real here. I know this is a serious, clear pill for many, but That's what you came here for. Like, yeah, I don't know about you, but like if I was struggling in life, like I would put everything on pause and I would do what it takes to make my situation better. So I'm not trying to promote that, and I'm speaking to everyone right now, not necessarily just this one individual, but I see this mindset come up quite a bit where people are like, I'm in all this pain. I have this illness. I have this disease. I have this, that, and the third. Is there anything that I could do besides, like, eating more fresh food? Is there anything that I could do besides going to the gym? Is there anything that I could do besides? It's like, we need to become a little bit more resilient, guys. That's the beauty of like doing like cold showers. I don't know about any of you, but like when I did my first cold shower, I noticed like, oh my God, like I could actually do this. And it builds a thicker skin. Like it builds calluses and areas of your soul that you never imagined. Like, become more resilient, man. Like, I know that it's hard for people, especially people, but okay, Ennio, I'll go back to you directly. I'm speaking now directly to you. My grandma is diabetic, and she was on about like 20 something medications. This is a real story, by the way, 100% real. It's pretty mind blowing, and I think it'll resonate a lot with you, and hopefully it could resonate with a lot of other people because again, diabetes is very popular. We all know somebody, whether that's a family, friend, etc., that is struggling with this quote unquote disease. So with my grandmother, she was doing the normal regimen of the standard American diet mixed with, once she got diagnosed with diabetes and started taking insulin, she started taking all of these medications to go along for the ride, continued eating the standard American diet, continued to get fatter, sicker, and less happy with life. And she knew that I was changing, a lot of people's outlook on eating through some other things that I've been discussing, not necessarily just disease, but just other things that we've talked about with the conversation around consumption and diet, etc. So I told my grandma, she's an older Italian lady, so she loves her pasta. And I said, continue to eat as much pasta as you want. And she's like, what did you just say? And I was like, I want you to eat as much pasta as humanly possible, but cut out all the meat, cut out all the dairy, cut out all the eggs, and cut out all the oil. And she's like, what about sugar? I'm like, keep the sugar, keep the fruit, keep the pasta. She's like, are you fucking serious? And I'm like, yes. Instead of eating pasta with olive oil and Parmesan cheese, instead of eating eggs for breakfast, eat fruit. Eat as much pasta with red sauce and beans and vegetables as you like. Keep eating pasta. I don't care how much pasta you eat. I don't care how much rice you eat. You'll have more of an insulinogenic response from eating eggs and meat than you would from white bread. I'll say that again. The human body, once it's consumed, because this is all that matters, is bioavailability and how your body reacts to what you put inside of it. Okay? When you eat meat, you have an insulinogenic response that is more than white bread. Okay? So I told her, continue to eat the pasta, and I want you to eat as much as it satiates you. Now, you know why this worked? Oh, by the way, because there's so much to say about this story, but she lost so much weight. To this day, she's lost over 100 pounds. Okay. But she lost like instantly about 40 pounds in like 2 to 3 months. She cut her medications down in half within 2 months. And she's like, I cannot believe this is working because I eat so much now. How am I losing weight when I eat this much? And I'm saying, well, because your body is learning how to not be so reliant on this exogenous insulin that you've been pumping in it to stay alive because of your shit diet. And you're eating foods that are standard foods that are, I mean, even when you're being told by a doctor, stop eating out so much, stop eating, stop eating the French fries, stop eating meat, all this, like, they're not really filling you in on the answer as to why the hormones are so disrupted when you're consuming those particular things. So if you were to take something like white bread and put peanut butter on it, it's going to have a different insulinogenic response than it would if you just ate the white bread alone. If you had white bread with peanut butter and jelly on it, it's going to have an even more positive effect on the body because fructose sugar will actually blunt the sugar spike. The body is very complicated, actually, when you start to get down to like these dynamics, all right? So when people are being told to eat a specific way by their doctors, the doctor doesn't go through any nutrition schooling. I remember hearing a statistic that a doctor will go through like 10 to 12 years of higher education, of university, but only about 2 to 5% of all of that training is regarding nutrition. It's pretty mind-blowing, but that's a fact. And that's a fact for not only America, but Canada, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, pretty much, and China, the whole world. So that's why when you look at diabetes, you see that Brazil, America, China, Australia, India all have very, very high levels and high percentages of people that are diagnosed with diabetes because they are eating animal products mixed with very high fat foods that are coming from processed fats, such as oils. So by having my grandma cut out all of this olive oil and cutting out all these insanely processed fats, there was a dramatic amount of weight loss and a huge reduction in the medications because she wasn't experiencing the same amount of inflammation anymore, for sure. And there was an immense hormonal reaction. But now she can go on longer walks. Now she could walk up and down the stairs of her house a lot easier. She's essentially reversing diabetes. And she's doing it by eating pasta and not put on a diet. I didn't put her on a diet. I didn't tell her to cut calories. Because you can't tell somebody who's struggling with that type of disease to cut calories. But that's the number one way people try to help people with diabetes. And why? Because the number one way of reducing what's going on with diabetes is by literally just losing weight, no matter how you do it. That's how like artificial diabetes is of a disease. That all you really need to do to start working towards a better life when you have diabetes is just start reducing your weight. And that could be all forms of weight. That could be weight from skeletal muscle, weight from adiposity, weight from water. The body is just like, what the fuck am I doing without a working pancreas? You see what I'm trying to say here? So it's like, it's amazing how this has become a popular, rampant disease. But you go back 70, 80 years ago, there wasn't anyone with diabetes. It's fucking mind-blowing. And I know there's going to be people out there, but like, oh, the carnivore diet, it's like, well, the carnivore diet, I could tell you why you can't get diabetes on that diet because you're isolating down to vegetables and meats. You're eating such a simple diet, but are you hydrated? No. Do you have meat flesh in your colon for 20 days, 30 days at a time before it fully digests through your body? Yes. If you study how long meat takes to digest in the body, it takes 3 days minimum, okay? A majority of the mass of it will pass through you because you don't have the digestive enzymes, you don't have the saliva, you don't have the gut microbiome, you don't have the stomach acid to work through that meat effectively. You're not a fucking lion. There's nothing about a human that could possibly deal with that meat. But when you isolate down to only eating animal flesh and broccoli, you're removing all the shitty foods you used to eat. So of course you're going to reduce inflammation. Of course you're going to reduce your calories. If I gave you 2,000 calories of steak and 2,000 calories of French fries, which one do you think you're going to want to, after you're done eating 2,000 calories of French fries, you still have more room to eat. But after eating 2,000 calories of steak, your jaw is going to be tired from chewing. So people are just so unsophisticated at their outlook on these things. So when we get into the meat conversation or anything like that, or keto or any of these diets, there's a very obvious way that you can tell that the agenda works so well. And notice that I'm not using the word vegan to push any agendas with this message. I'm giving you pure facts of biology, all the, the details. This isn't here to push people to eat any ism or become part of any, isolated group of peoples. All of that shit is going to have lots of problems for the body. That's why I said my piece before about water fasting, because I used to resonate a lot with the overall message and identity of these individuals, but then I started to notice it's just a cult. It's a cult of people that are wearing this water fast as a badge. They're like, I fasted for 40 days like Jesus, look at me. It's like, yeah, but what wisdom have you gained from this? And look at you. Your fucking teeth are falling out. Like, are you happy? Do you feel like a sense of purpose? Like, really, what was that about? And the people who've done these really extended fasts, I've noticed that they have the same sort of energy about their stories that you get with like vegans who just want to go tell the whole world about how veganism has worked so well for them. But the world doesn't really need people to jump ship so extremely right now. The world needs to become more balanced, and we become more balanced by treating the body the way it was designed, which is a water system. Just any physical food is actually harming the body quite a bit when you start to break down what's going on within the vessel. All physical food is going to start to create issues in the body eventually. So if you study ancient civilizations and ancient culture, you're going to see that fasting was done because it was required in order for the body to come back to homeostasis, to come back to equilibrium, so they could rehydrate their vessels and they could become more nomadic during those times. They didn't have to be as reliant on food sources during long trips. It's pretty amazing how intuitive the people of the past used to be about their consumption regimens. And you compare that to today, and people are like, oh my God, I haven't eaten a meal in 2 hours. I need to eat. The bodybuilders are like, I haven't eaten a protein shake in 3 hours. I'm going to lose my muscle. It's like, do you think the body is stupid? Do you think we were built wrong? But like, there's such a lack of common sense right now when it comes to nutrition, and people just need to be told these truths. Somebody said something about, and also we'll recap a couple other things. Okay. First of all, if you've been doing extended fasts, really happy for you. I hope it has been. I promote extended fasting, but we need to be loose with it. We need to listen to our bodies. Like, that's what this is all about. You fast when your body is telling you it's time to fast. We're not making a fucking competition out of it, is what I'm trying to say. So do it, go with the flow, have fun with it, fall in love with your bodies, fall in love with yourself. Don't make it you're not getting a gold medal because you did a 40-day water fast. No one cares. Like, just love yourself, treat your body better. Beyond that, somebody asked a question about distilled water. Distilled water is the only water that human beings should be consuming because the entire organic system is a distiller. The amniotic fluid within a woman is distilled waters. Urine is distilled waters. Blood is distilled waters. Lymphatic fluid is distilled waters. Rain is distillation. The hydrologic cycle is distilled. Everything in nature is distilled. Everything else is artificial, and humans have come into, some sort of interaction with it. Or when we get to the process of spring water, we're talking about after the fact of rain, of course. So when we're getting water from a mountain spring, this is okay because this water has a positive charge to it. It has a lot of prana, but it has a lot of minerals in it, specifically inorganic minerals. And this is not good for the human vessel. So I would not be consuming spring water in large amounts. But if you get spring water and then you'd like to distill it, this would be ideal. But if you're, it's not going to have the same life force energy. There's plenty of ways to recharge water, though. You could recharge water with just taking 1 cup and pouring it into the next. You could recharge water with literally having a conversation with the water. This has been done by a Japanese scientist. He was just taking water and saying "I love you" to the water, or writing a note that said "love" and freezing the water and seeing how it crystallizes, and then putting another water and writing a note on it that says "hate" or saying some negative word. And the way that the crystal was forming on the water was all distorted looking. Like, this is the kind of stuff that proves that we have such an amazing interaction with nature that is beyond human comprehension. But think about that scientific, test. Just the words you say and the intention you have. This is magic, right? This is what magic is. But that's one of the ways to charge the water. Like, literally just saying something nice. Oh yeah, somebody's asking if I could post the Instagram link in the, yeah, I'll do that right now for everyone. Let me just copy and paste this right here. Okay, I'm posting the Instagram link right now, so you guys could have fun. Have fun with that. I'm seeing somebody said, why so many F words? Distillation has nothing to do with the alkalinity or acidity of the water. Like, when it comes to the human body, you just want to be slightly alkaline, and your alkalinity should be provided to you from the foods you consume. Alkaline water is a scam. Period. It's a scam. It doesn't even make any sense, because the way the body works, think about it. If you take lemons and you put lemon in your body, even though lemon on the pH scale, if you pH tested lemon juice, it's extremely acidic. But when it goes in the human body, what does it do? It alkalizes you. Think about how perfect your body is. Okay? So if you put alkaline water in your body, it doesn't make you more alkaline. It actually has an acidic response within your body. Alkaline water is killing people. It's a fucking scam. If you want to become more alkaline, you're not going to do it with water. You do it with fruit, vegetables. You do it with living foods. That's the best way to do it. Because it's not only the liquid, it's the liquid that has organic minerals within it. And that organic mineral, that's going to, then the electrolytes are in balance. You're going to interstitially hold this liquid much more harmonious for the vessel. Celery juice is incredible for you. Juicing any high water content fruit is going to be amazing for you. Like, cucumber juice is amazing for you. Lots of electrolytes. Honestly, you could have a very cheap and effective regimen if you just had a slow masticating juicer. You just get a slow masticating juicer. That's probably like $120. It's very cheap. I recommend that one though, not the blade juicer. This is really bad for the actual, you're superheating what it is that you're in the process of cutting up, and it's cellular, like the cellular structure is being damaged quite a bit. So if you want to maintain those functions and have a more like organic process to this juicing, just slow masticating juicers, a lot more effective. And then just do cucumber, celery, parsley, or cilantro, or coriander, if that's what you call it, a little bit of lemon, and a little bit of apple. That's really cheap. You could do that for like 20 days straight. It would be insane. Your sense of smell will get better, your eyesight will get better, your hair will start to repair more, your skin will become way less damaged, especially if you're having any skin issues. So if you're experiencing any skin issues, whether that be acne or stuff like that, or if you have sensitive skin, yeah, definitely cucumbers, watermelon, celery, all of that juiced. It's cheap. It's effective. Like, I mean, juicing grapes, for instance, is going to be super expensive. So I'm just giving you a little life hack. Another one I really like to do is apples, turmeric root, and ginger root, but turmeric root especially. I like the real turmeric root, not the turmeric powder. Anna says, regarding the Moon Vision hoodie, any chance of getting it in black? So let me see. So my merch website is WatersAbove.shop. I'll actually post that too if anyone was, interested in that. I'm coming out with some new merch soon. But Anna, I think you might be talking about this hoodie. It has the moons on it as well. So I'll post the... I think this is the one that Anna is talking about. So has the third eye logo that I made, and as well as the chief wolf logo on the back, and a little bit of a cryptic decode for all of you guys to figure out. But I might need to go redo these older ones too, to just have WA instead of the WAC. Just rebranding. But I have new merch coming out probably by I want to get it done by middle of November. We'll see. I don't want to rush the process, but that'd be good. Because I have a new design. I have a new design that I'm working on. I'm just in the process of working with Mike 440. I don't know if he's up in here, but shout out to Mike. He's always been there kind of helping me with the final touches on the graphic design. I create everything, I send it over to him for final touches on graphic design. He's been helping me since the beginning, actually, on getting my vision to be completed in the final process. So shout out to Mike, sending him lots of love, and excited to work with him on the new logo because it's going to be dope. It's so sick. Oh, Matt. Matt asked an amazing question. Matt says, curious who some of your favorite comedians are. My favorite comedian of all time is Louis C.K. That's my boy. That guy is the funniest. Oh, man. Because me and Louis C.K. have the same humor. Like, the stuff that I think... Like, when I'm going on tangents and I just think of some random shit, like, I am the same energy as him. And he always has this beautiful way of taking something personal. Like, he exposes all of, like, these, moments in life, and he turns them into these such hilarious visions. He, like, paints these pictures with these ideas. But yeah, Louis C.K.'s top notch. I struggle with the comedians thing because ever since podcasting, I feel like stand-up comedy hasn't been as good. I was talking with somebody about that the other day. Podcasting culture for comedians has become huge. And it's actually making the stand-up less funny. But I think Theo Von is one of the funniest people on, like, outside of stand-up comedy. Like, if you just Theo Von is hilarious. But Louis C.K. is my favorite of all time for stand-up. And George Carlin, Bill Hicks is super funny as well, but his personality is a little bit like, I don't know, sometimes it's a little bit intense for me. But once in a while it's great. Yeah. Those are like 4 off the top of my head that, really, Tom Segura is funny, but his stand-up isn't really my thing. He's just, his podcast that he does with his wife, I think is awesome. Like, him and his wife have a podcast, and I think they're really, back in the day, it used to be amazing. Lately, it's, you could see there's a lot of money involved with it. It just hasn't been as good. But top notch, Louis C.K. for sure. Kalita, sending you lots of love. Thank you for joining us. This is a big question I'm gonna get to. Scavin says, "Hey Jordan, can you tell us more about the chosen ones, and how do you know if you are the one? Also, could you tell some more about developing psychic abilities?" To be completely honest, I think we're in the age right now of people coming out and saying that they have these psychic abilities. And whether they talk about dreams or they talk about, whatever visions they're getting. And there's clairvoyance, there's so much to get into with that. But I'm getting a vibe from a lot of this psychic community as part of like this new age community. Like, it seems like they're intermingled in a sense. And I get a lot of like bullshit from all of it. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be, real about how I've been feeling about these so-called psychics. And it's a cop-out a lot. Like, if they make these predictions from these visions they have and it doesn't come true, they could just say something like, oh, like maybe I misinterpreted the dream. And it's like, they could just do that forever. And it's like these crystal ball readers, or, the people that I remember when I was growing up, I lived in New Jersey for a while. I was born in New York, but I spent a lot of time in Jersey, on the Jersey Shore. And the boardwalk was there, and there's like these people who, like gypsies, who like do crystal balls and like these readings and stuff, and they would all be talking about like, like you get your palm read. You could just tell it was mostly just scammers. And I'm sure there's legitimate people around the world who really do have a sight and could really see into the depth of time. But please remember, guys, that time is man-made. Timelines in and of itself, most of it is theoretical, and it's important for you on an individual level to see how you resonate with your experience of life. Like, how do you resonate with the people that you communicate with and time itself? When you're going out of your way to have an idea validated by somebody else who's an alleged specialist or a psychic of some sorts, you're going to get sucked into a lot of their own belief systems. And for me, I could speak for myself that it's very important that we focus on believing in yourself and never externalizing belief. The only thing you should ever believe in is yourself. Everything outside of you is just there. It exists. Resonate with it. Don't believe in it. Meaning, believe in yourself and resonate with everything else. That's how you could do life in a way where you're the one who's actually, the architect, as opposed to you being used as a subject for someone else's architectural blueprint. So my idea on the chosen ones and what we are, etc., even I've taken a step back from these ideas about talking about the NPCs, as some people call them, and the so-called chosen ones. And I'll tell you my perspective on what chosen one is, okay? Most people, when they think of chosen ones, they think of like God chose you, they think of it in the biblical or Abrahamic religion perspective, which is all old news. It's all about indoctrinating people into externalizing their spiritualism. Okay? Think about what I'm saying. You can't be externalizing your spiritualism because you are spirit. You're the spirit. There's no external spirit. You are the spirit. The chosen one is those who make the choice. It's that simple. Do you want to be an architect, or do you want to be a consumer? Do you want to be a subject? What do you want to be? Do you want to be a builder, or do you want to be used for someone else's plan? Do you want to be part of God's plan, or do you want to become the God? That's your choice. You get to choose this. The chosen one is when you decide to be chosen and become the one. So think about the Matrix movie. Neo is an anagram for one, and he eventually becomes the one when he decides to make the choice. And the entire movie, the Oracle is having this conversation with him to essentially let Neo know that Neo, like, you've already made the choice. You've already made it. Like, your soul, your spirit, it has come to a decision. So that's what the chosen one means to me. You're not chosen by something outside of you. You yourself have made the choice. What are you here to do? Are you here to leave your unique imprint on this simulacrum? Or are you here to be used as a bolt and a cog in the machine of the simulacrum? Are you here to be the pen and the paper, or are you here to be the poetry? Are you here to be the piano, or are you here to be the song? It's up to you. You make the choice. So that's what it is. Love Stonks says, hey Jordan, love your music preview. Can't wait to hear more. I'll definitely be sharing more. Definitely. Sonic mentions, she said, that's eye-opening about more insulin response to animal products versus grain starch. Yep. Because remember, Sonic, the whole system that they're using for telling you about calories and protein and fiber and carbohydrates and all of these the macronutrient breakdowns on the nutrition facts on the outside of foods, or when you go to look up the calories on foods on a calculator, you're getting a system where they're like burning the food and then determining these things after they weigh the ashes or whatever the fuck. This is not how the human body works. The human body isn't a fire system. It's a water system, okay? So we need to become aware that when a human consumes foods, this is much different than the process of scientism and how they break down all the nonsense that they give you from the same institutions that are doing all the other maniacal things like the pharmaceutical industry and vaccinations, etc. So when the body consumes something, it has a response after the fact. And this is why the insulinogenic response of foods is a much more compelling conversation to have regarding the specificity of the diabetes discussion. Eggs are insanely insulinogenic, and it's amazing how, if you think about it, if you take bread in and of itself, even white bread, is not that insulinogenic as much as you might assume. But when you add butter to it, like animal-based butter, it makes the bread's insulinogenic response shoot through the fucking sky. Okay? So when you have toast with butter on it, real butter, by the way, you're really doing a doozy to your body. So now you think of the standard breakfast where people are eating bacon, eggs, toast. Holy shit. They're fucking up their bodies. They're creating diabetes at the first meal of the day, and they're doing it from being children. Kara says, no high quality olive oil, ? All oil is processed. All oil is going to create inflammation in the body, okay? It's highly inflammatory. So if we're talking about working with somebody who's diabetic, especially somebody who's diabetic who's much overweight at a later stage of age, is chronically dehydrated, has other illnesses and diseases, as well as has been taking exogenous insulin for 10, 20 years. This is why I told my grandmother to cut out the oil, because I knew what I was working with. Okay? I'm very methodical about my responses and who I'm talking. You know, if I was your personal trainer, I'd be able to look at you, to be able to talk with you for a while and get to know more about you so that I could tailor a plan to what's going on here. You know, if somebody was 20 years old and they have six-pack abs and they're just like waking up to food and they want to start making these changes to become a better athlete or whatever, you know, like, we're not going to be cutting out every oil. It's not as serious with them. It just depends on who we're talking to. But in and of itself, if we just have the conversation of oil is creating inflammation in the body. We should not be consuming an isolated processed oil. The body doesn't know what to do with it. It doesn't really have much of a system in place besides the gallbladder. So I wouldn't be fucking around with lots of oil. Now, if you use it sparingly, then have fun. But anything in moderation is perfectly fine for you. Anything in moderation, to be completely honest. That's why I'm saying it's a process. When you're extreme about things, it's going to be very hard to make a lifestyle change. But if you cut away and make small changes, then you're going to be able to make, it's going to be more sustainable. But remember, if we have somebody that's on death's door, that's really, really sick and really, really chronically inflamed and really dehydrated, they need to be more serious about their approach to healing themselves. If you're 15 years old, well, then we're talking about a different body here. Moonwalker says wolves eat berries and meat. Yeah, that's because wolves are carnivores. Wolves have a digestive system, a jaw, teeth, saliva pH, gut, microbiome is set up for this. Their intestinal length is much, much shorter than a human's. I mean, you could keep going on. The reasoning why. When a wolf eats meat, it eats raw meat and it doesn't even chew it. It literally is just swallowing huge chunks of flesh, and it's saliva, everything in the stomach acids. It's perfect. It's perfectly designed to work through digesting that effectively and making that flesh bioavailable to that particular animal. A dog is carnivorous. A human being, absolutely not. Just looking through some questions. When I release music or an album, it will be put directly on my website. I don't know if I'll be going the Spotify and Apple Music route. I want to own my art. I want to have full control over that art. Zachariah is talking about consuming distilled water, but feeling like the stomach is acidic. Well, that's not from water. That's from the things you eat. And perhaps it could be many other things going on. It could be your stress levels. It could be your sleep quality. It could be so many things. Like just becoming more stressed could make you more acidic. Or you could be over consuming supplements. You could be, I mean, it's so multifaceted. Santo Claus says coconut water question mark. Yes, yes, yes. Coconut water is amazing for you. Coconut water is absolutely incredible. I rather drink coconut water all day than regular water, but it could be expensive unless you have access to a coconut tree or you're in, Thailand or somewhere where you can get affordable coconut. Scott Toshi Brakamoto. I'm sending you lots of love, brother. I appreciate you. You said, it's me, Scott Bryce from Expansion Mastermind Group. Do you like my new handle? Of course I love your new handle. That's hilarious. Um you're more than welcome to change it. You said, shout out to my Expansion Mastermind family, Clementine and D Vortex. Love y'all. That's beautiful, Scott. I appreciate you, brother. And thank you so much for the super chat. Sending you lots of love. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful day. Marissa, you've been wrenched. Marissa says, you have a ton of fake IG accounts popping up. I get messaged by a new one at least once a week. Yeah, I know. What are you going to say? Like, what can I do about it? That's just the way it is. Yeah. Yeah, zucchinis are fine. Of course. I don't know if zucchinis would juice too well, though. So, just, depends, I suppose. Spella Ellis says, can you make organic cotton merch? That is a possibility. I might have the ability to do this, but to be completely honest, it's gonna take me some time to get to the point where I could have my own cut and sew, where I could be more involved in the process behind the materials. I'm just trying my best to do one thing at a time. It's going to take a little bit of me communicating with other people out there who own clothing lines and could perhaps do a collaboration with me. Maybe we could do a small run of things, but I would love to design more, and I would love to be more involved in the designing process. But all of my logos, all of my merchandise logos, everything I created all of that. I designed all the Aesthetics. Mr. Jansen just said, I got back from a 3-hour stand-up act. Daniel Aarons. If there's anything on YouTube you want to send me, Mr. Jansen, go ahead. I always like checking out comedians if I have a little bit of spare time. Oh yeah, Robert Lanstra, sending you lots of love, brother. I hope you're having an amazing day. You brought up Bill Burr. Yes, Bill Burr is like, he's one of my favorite as well. Damn, how did I forget about him? He's so fucking, yeah. Can't believe I forgot about Bill Burr. Legend. Patrice O'Neal, shit, dude. I knew you guys are gonna do this to me. I knew you were gonna do this to me. Where you start naming all these comedians that I love, but I forgot about. Yeah, Patrice is the man. If any man out there wants to hear the truth of like what men should be like paying attention to, Patrice O'Neal is your source, you know? He is so funny. And what he says about women too. Like, I mean, it really needed to be heard at the time. Decode says, thing is, the psychic business had a bad rap because of scammers and liars. Yeah, I mean, like all things, right? Decode, like that happens in a lot of communities because people learn that they could take advantage of other people's ignorance and their lack of a desire to learn their own truth and become self-empowered. And you know, I get it. I the game is weak, you know, and that's why very few artists make it through these transitions and can be long term with this whatever is going on right now. You know, I call it the expansion. That's what I've been calling this moment. Some people call it the golden age or the age of Aquarius. I call it the expansion. But I think this is a time right now where the real ones are going to be noticed and the fakers and the scammers and the deceivers are going to be revealed. So it is what it is. It just is what it is. Matt Myers says that primes things for the big bear question. That would be a significant collaboration stream between you and great comedian Owen Benjamin. Oh, I know about Owen Benjamin. He's the one that like used to be kind of famous comedian, right? And then he started like talking some serious truth about, I don't know what happened, but then he like started doing live streams. I think I'm talking about the right guy. I don't remember though. Oh man, it's been like 3 years since I even watched anything of his. I'm sure he was deplatformed from a lot of the regular social media channels, but yeah, he was pretty interesting guy. I haven't kept up his work. Like I said, it's probably been like 3 years, but a shout out to Owen Benjamin, I guess. I always want people to thrive, and I'm manifesting abundance for all people that are doing their part. But I don't necessarily know too much of how we would collaborate, but could be cool. Could be cool. Chris Rish Wayne, sending you lots of love. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, I'm really enjoying the expansion mastermind course. Much appreciated. Well, I'm really grateful for you investing in my art and anyone who got the expansion mastermind course. It really means a lot to me. You said, my question is about infrared saunas. Is regular use beneficial, detox, or detrimental, or maybe both? Now, I personally don't have I don't have any experience with saunas personally. So I'll say that right off the bat, Chris. I do know that based on what I've been told, based on other people's experiences that have been shared with me, that saunas in general are extremely good for just creating more balance, detoxification, etc. But specifically infrared saunas is something that I looked into like maybe 5 years ago, and I was interested in getting one because you could get smaller ones for your house. But I heard mixed kind of review, you know, like I get mixed. People are out there being like, it's the greatest thing. And then there's some people out there that are like, no, you know, it's artificial. It's not natural to be put in that setting. So like when you look at the way like a Finnish spa or like a Russian spa is set up, like some of them are like super, they could be really, really natural. And I wouldn't know personally out of my own experience, so I can't say, but I believe that in general, saunas are incredible for the body, and to detox in general. Just think about the stimulation of the lymphatic system when you're in that situation. Any sweating is going to be profound on your lymphatic system. So I'll speak on what I do know, okay? When your body temperature changes dramatically from its tiny bandwidth of comfortability, you're going to start to have changes in the hormonal reactions to what's going on. When you start to get very cold, your brown adipose will get stimulated, and that brown adipose will actually start to create an effect on the body, and hormones will release, and you'll start to have a change in the overall chemistry and vibrational frequency. The same thing goes with becoming a little on the warmer side. Now, if it starts getting so hot to the point where you're sweating, the sweat in and of itself leaving, the epidermis, when you start just profusely sweating, is going to be detoxification in and of itself. So that's just basic on how the body works. I also can see huge merit between going from the sauna to like very cold temperature and going back and forth. Wim Hof and a lot of other people out there that, this is ancient tradition. It's nothing new, but I think Wim Hof did a very good job at bringing this to the scene more popularly for people, and made it a little bit more of like a pop culture idea for people to consider cold exposure and flipping on between hot and cold. Also, guys, I have to wrap this one up. So I'm going to be ending this live stream, and I'm just going to be pushing through some final questions. Appreciate everyone who showed up. This will be available for playback, so no worries at all. Abdullah Nasif, thank you so much, brother. Sending you lots of love to the 3T Warrior Academy. I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys next week as well. So next week, I'm going to be connecting with the Good Morning Crypto show with Abdullah and Johnny Crypto, and maybe a couple of other ones. I know Mario sometimes joins in, and it'll be great. It'll be great to connect with all of you guys. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, my family, I'm going to be heading out. Daisy F says, so much love to you all. Amazing live. Beautiful to be back. Definitely check out the playback, as well as I will be doing a live stream next week, probably on Saturday, around 1 p.m. from now on. Probably stick to Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I think that'll be a better for all of us. Could hang out a little longer, and it was great getting to spend a couple hours with everyone. I will be doing a podcast this Sunday on Patreon. It's patreon.com/WatersAbove. So anyone who's a member over there, you'll be getting updated if you're a Mastermind community member. Be discussing the market, kind of giving a recap over the last week and what to expect moving into this upcoming solar eclipse. And of course, we have this lunar eclipse in a couple weeks. So going to be going over the market in that podcast and touching on about 4 to 5 different altcoins that the community votes on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what coins we're going to be going over for the week, because we're still waiting for the final votes to come in that you guys submit. So I'll be catching you guys over there for that podcast. And it was great. It was great connecting a little bit earlier today. I hope you're all having a beautiful rest of your day and weekend. Much love to everyone.